that proceeded for Thursday 26th March accordingly. So I have an announcement to make. And my announcement is to remind and to continue to enlighten the public that the quorum of Parliament is 1/4. That such quorum as prescribed in the 1991 Constitution does not require a combination of partisan inclusion. Hence, you have 1/4 of the membership of Parliament in the chamber. The business of Parliament will continue and it is constitutional. Further to that, I wish to remind and educate the public that Section 94(3) that gives Parliament the power to regulate itself further re-echoes Section 89. That any vacancy in this chamber caused by any of the reasons, whether by absenteeism, by boycott, or whatnot, will not invalidate the decisions of Parliament. Sure. So as we continue to do the business of the people under Section 97 of the Constitution, implementation, I continue to encourage the leader of government business to make sure that all businesses of the state comes to this Parliament every other day as prescribed in SO 52. Where the necessary amendment needs to be made, I know accordingly he will rely on SO 82 and makes the necessary amendment for the House to sit on Mondays. And if he so requires, he will ask us to sit on weekends or holidays, public holidays. But it is at his discretion. But this House will not stop in doing the business of the people as required by it under the 1991 Constitution. So, honorable members, I will not call the booster as my boss usually do, but I would encourage you and I would congratulate all of you for making sure that you don't only come to Parliament every day, but you are always on time. Further to that, I also want to remind committees that the provision in Section 89 for quorum of Parliament is also inscribed in the standing order when it comes to committee having a quorum to do the business of the committee. I think the number is 6. And that number also does not require bipartisan inclusion. Hence, you have 6 members, you can proceed. Further to that, the business of this House will not stop. Standing order 72 requires this House to make a decision in the absence of anybody that is a substantive for any committee. So on that note, I would encourage the clerk to draw the attention of the House to SO 72 and I will allow him to make the necessary announcement. That ends my announcement. Thank you. Clerk.
Yes, sir. Honorable members, with the leave of Mr. Speaker, a notice has been served on my office from the Parliamentary Committee of Human Rights, notice of meeting. The Parliamentary Committee on Human Rights is headed by the opposition, but there is a notice from a cross-section of members present requesting thus. And from their committee clerk, it reads, I am directed by the underlisted honorable members of the Committee on Human Rights, and in accordance with Standing Orders 73-2 of the Standing Orders of the Sierra Leone Parliament, to invite members of the committee to a meeting scheduled for 1st April 2026 at 10 a.m. at the new administrative building of Parliament. The following members made this request: Honorable Breva Mansare, Chairman, Honorable Levy, Honorable Mariama Munia Zombo, Honorable Ami Moriba, Honorable Rubia Tutarani Musafa, Honorable Fatmata Sarah Sokene, Honorable Hindolu Mwewu Geval, Honorable Usman Buri Jalo. For the edification of this house, I would like to read SO 73-2. reads, save where it is otherwise provided in any order, if the committee chairman is unable to be present at any meeting, the committee shall elect another chairman whose tenure of office shall be for the day of his election. So these members are requesting for them to convene to elect a new chairman for the committee activities to continue.
I saw you.
For the first
Committee on Human Rights, you can proceed.
Government motion. The Minister of Finance.
April 1, April 2. April 1, April 2.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, be it resolved that this honorable House hereby ratifies the following agreement which was laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 26 March 2026, Extractive Industries Fiscal Stabilization Agreement for large-scale mining between the government of Sierra Leone and Leone Afrique Metals Sierra Leone Limited, dated 16th March 2026. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, on the authorization of Cabinet, I have the honor to present this agreement to Parliament for ratification. The agreement is in line with constitutional provisions, Section 110, subsection 4 of Section 5 and subsection 1, Section 6 of the Tax and Duty Exemption Act of 2023, which provides for the minister to negotiate tax exemptions on behalf of the state, submit them to Cabinet for approval and Parliament for ratification. It is against this backdrop that I am presenting here today the fiscal proposals that have been approved by Cabinet for your consideration for the Leone Afrique Metal for a Kalangba lithium or deposit mining operation. This lithium deposit, which is at the Kanji Hills, cover an area of 80.4 square kilometer of lithium-rich reserve in the Gowahun Chiefdom in Bombali district. Based on the company's presentations and planned investments of between 260 to 300 million US dollars and production that is estimated around 2 million tons annually over a period of about 13 years, the scope of the project, which is an open pit excavation that will last for a period of about 25 years. This company is being granted an exclusive mining license by the Ministry of Mines and is seeking the ratification of Parliament for fiscal concession to support the stabilization period stabilization of its investments during the period of the mining operation. There are a lot of benefits that this project will bring to the country in terms of production and export of lithium ore, around 2 million tons annually, beginning from 2027, following the completion of the construction of the mining sites. We expect foreign direct investment, as I've said, to the tune of nearly 300 million, and job creation opportunities. There are currently 65 employees, but this is expected to create more than 1,000 direct jobs during full operation and production phase of the mines. We expect government revenue to be boosted, where we are projecting payments from different forms of taxes, corporate tax, royalties, and other taxes. They will contribute to increase government revenue substantially during the period of operation. And then foreign exchange, potential to be one of the higher earners of forex flow into the country, but also benefit for individual and business income expected from people who will be serving as contractors, but also the goods and services that will be provided or sold or awarded the employment and other business support of people working around the areas. The fiscal concessions that are in the agreement, we expect they largely follow applicable laws. On the minimum tax, we have allowed applicable law as approved by Parliament. They will have a minimum tax law that they will be compliant with. License fee will be according to applicable law. Royalty will be according to the applicable law. Corporate tax will be according to applicable law. Withholding taxes on direct resident contractors will be according to applicable law. Withholding taxes on service provider non-resident contractor will not apply because of the difficulty in measuring and applying this type of legal provisions for companies. Withholding taxes on dividend, we have provided 5% for 10 years. We've negotiated that. Withholding taxes on interest of residents, 5% for 10 years. Withholding taxes of interest on non-residents, that will be 5% for 10 years. Withholding taxes for payment to affiliates will be according to applicable law. Management fee will be according to applicable law. Import duties on fuel and lubricants, here we negotiated, because this affects the cash flow of mining operations. So here we negotiated for fuel 1% of aggregate taxes, for loops 1% of aggregate taxes. For road user charges on fuel, we're exempt for diesel or stationary plants and machinery at the mining site, but applicable law for petroleum products. PAYE will be according to applicable law, that's how we negotiated it. Payroll will be according to applicable law. Import duties on machineries, plant and equipment, non-capital goods and mining consumables. PME is exempt according to law, and other mining consumables will attract 1% of law, 1% taxes. Import inspection fee, so this will be negotiated with different private service providers Environmental fees will follow applicable law. Community levy development fund will follow applicable law. And then loss carry forward, this we said it will be 85% of loss carry forward and no limits. A fiscal stabilization is provided for within the agreement, and for surface rents, we said they should follow what the law says. For capital gains, we exempt if consideration is cumulative, within 35% or less. Second, 5% if consideration is cumulatively greater than 35% or less than 51%. And 15% if consideration is cumulatively greater than 51 to 65%. And after that, to be applicable law, anything if consideration is cumulatively greater than 65%. For monitoring fees, we said they should follow the applicable law. And then for freight levy, this can be negotiated as and when they need the support. Headquarter fees, we are silent about that. The agreement is silent about that. It does not apply. Those are the provisions that we are seeking this Honorable House approval for. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I move that be it resolved that this Honorable House hereby ratify foreign agreement which was laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 26 March 2026, Extractive Industry Fiscal Stabilization Agreement for large-scale mining between the government of Sierra Leone and Leone Afrique Metal Sierra Leone Limited dated 16 March 2026. Submit.
Honorable members, the question is that this Honorable House hereby ratifies the following agreement which was laid on the table of the Honorable House on Thursday, 26 March 2026. Extractive Industries Fiscal Stabilization Agreement for large-scale mining between the government of Sierra Leone and Afrique Metal Sierra Leone Limited, dated 16th March 2026. Who am I going to take first? Finance or mines? Who is the chairman for mines? Chairman for mines is not here. I will take the chairman for finance. I'm mindful of SO52. Today is Friday. I will take two more people and one.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to be very brief. Today, we have an agreement before us, brought before us by the Minister of Finance. Not today. Of course, it is clear that this House have no doubt in the leadership and operation of the Ministry of Finance, headed by the Right from Tamadi Angora. So for the fact that if you listen keenly, honorable members, the agreement before us, most of the things are going to be done according to the laws we made in this House. According to the laws, they are not new things. Not more new things are found in this agreement. But, there are certain times we look for investors to come and invest in our country because that helps. If we are talking about economic growth, these are some of the things that helps our economy to boom. If we want the economy to be buoyant, these are some of the elements we need to encourage for our economy to be buoyant. You heard from him, this project, there are a lot of benefits in this project. Very lot of benefits. One, the foreign direct investment is a very huge benefit for the people of Sierra Leone. And we have had every day, Wokuno Day, SO2, Wokuno Day. When investors come to our country, they invest. There is possibility to recruit citizens of the land. And this not a mushroom organization. It's going to be a very big one. So that means employment is going to be very huge. That is going to ease the burden on the people. And 2002 in my debate in this well, when we are talking about the economy. Sorry, 2022, honorable members, I'm a human being. I said it. I said when we talk of economic growth, there is no way the economy is going to grow if the government fails to create the ambience for money to be put into individuals' pocket to encourage velocity of money. So if we are coming with this project is coming to come and operate in Sierra Leone, it's going to create huge employment. Then money will be changing faster in Sierra Leone, you know. And it's also going to help our revenue to increase, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is happening most times when every day, every year in, year out, we want to depend on donor to even finance our budget. The last budget we ratified, you had the minister said, we want to be dependent. We don't want to be donor driven at all times, even though we are not 100% there. But to a very large extent, we want to mobilize our own resources, our own revenue, to take care of ourselves. Even 90%, we can take care of ourselves up to 90%, maybe 10% will go out there to look for funds. So this also is going to encourage the revenue. There's more revenue will be coming into the country. You know, and foreign exchange stabilization. Because when you talk of direct foreign investment, you could be expecting, you will be getting hard currency into the country. So, yeah, of course, the USD, said by the honorable member here, the USD is here, and once the USD is here, then you will not, the USD exchange will not be skyrocketed. These are all things that are going to happen. And you also have from the minister, PAYE and other tax laws are strictly going to be followed, are going to be observed by our own laws we made here. These are not new laws. They are not going to use the British law. Our own laws we designed here. So on that note, Mr. Speaker, I see this agreement is not controversial at all because it's coming to help us. It's not controversial at all, and as you have advised, today is Friday, and I'm also going to prepare for my Juma prayer. So on that note, of course, Mr. Speaker, I want to encourage this honorable house. Let us ratify this agreement. Let it come to play. Let it come to effect. Let the people of Sierra Leone benefit. Let all of us benefit from this agreement. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to have a bite on this very important agreement. Thank you.
I want to thank the honorable member. I see honorable Mustafa Senu is trying to catch my eye. I will take honorable Mustafa Senu. Unfortunately, I would have loved to take honorable Abubakar Bobana, but your possibility has been limitated by the fact that the honorable Kekua Bandi is dressed in white. The honorable Mustafa Senu is dressed in white, so I need to take another one.
And Bashiru also dressed in white.
So I will end with honorable. So then we are all white. No, I give the floor to honorable Mustafa Senu, and then honorable Bufana next. And then we have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the agreements the government of Sierra Leone and the Leone African Bank of Sierra Leone Limited, Extractive Industry Fiscal Stabilization Agreement for large-scale mining. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we all know the importance and the relevance of large-scale mining operations in this country, how they have contributed to our GDP and to our economy as a whole, irrespective of the land division and other environmental issues attached to the operations. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I have looked at this document carefully and I listened to the minister when he was making his presentation. One of the areas that I want us to look at critically is the area of the energy source. fossil fuel, the usage of fossil fuel, and the diversification of renewable energy for emission. I think it's now gradually moving from the thermal plants, usage of thermal plants, to renewable energy in most of the large-scale mining operations. You go to the whole mining site, you see they are putting up 43 megawatts solar plants just to have another means of generating power for their operations. And 43 megawatts is a huge one, and that's a renewable means of energy. I think that's the direction we should be moving. And these agreements, I noticed that even the usage of diesel, that is the chunk part of the operations. We have concession, we have tax waivers for the mining company, which to me is something that we need to look at, because the monetary aspect is key. We give them this tax concession of fuel, they bring in fuel, and they are not monitored. So that's something we need to look at. Mr. Speaker, I take it to page 22. Talks about Leone Africa Metal may enter into agreement with local and foreign contractors, vendors, suppliers, or similar entities denominated in United States dollars, blah blah blah. These mining companies enter into contracts with local contractors or vendors. But what we've seen over the years, go to all these mining companies, big mining companies. They also take the large chunk of their contracts, logistics, supplies, and leave. This is a public concern, Mr. Speaker. I refer you to the Local Content Act and the President's speech in 2018, page 47 of that speech. He emphatically made it very clear that the local content policy is something we must implement later, and we must encourage our local business people to grow. In this agreement, we need to see that happen. And you look across most of the large-scale mining companies, even the quarry, even the crushing site. You go there now, you have this Chinese guy, they have their own dumpers they use to transport the crushing stones, and they are leaving the local transporters suffering. That is something we should look at. We are seeing the large-scale companies bringing their own trucks, bringing their own excavators, bringing their own supplies, everything they are bringing for themselves. So I think this is something in as much as we need revenue, we need resources, but we should not lose sight of this. Mr. Speaker, I think this is something, it's a public concern that I really want you to pay attention to. And I would not want to go into moving the motion at some time when it's a public concern. Sit down. Mr. Speaker, I want to have your attention. May I have your attention? Mr. Speaker, I refer you to page 22 of this agreement. When you go to Roman figure 9, under that, you come where they say Leone Africa Metal, Sierra Leone Limited may enter into agreement with local and foreign contractors, vendors, suppliers. I was talking about the entry to contract with local contractors, vendors. No, down. After Roman 9, down. You have 8, then you have 9 E. Okay, yeah, okay, later. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, what my submission here, if you look right now in the business environment, our local transporters, our local business people, they are stranded at some point, because the large-scale companies, they are coming to this country to operate. So there must be some leverage for our local business people, our local economy to grow. But if you look, they are taking over transportation, logistics, supplies. Most of the key business areas they're taking over. Even the quarry sites, you go now to Okohim, you see brand new old trucks bought by these Chinese companies. If they look at business people are taking, example, 20,000 euros to transport stones, they are not giving 15,000. So they are leaving our local people outside of the business arena, and that is not good for us. Because when our local people are empowered financially, it has contribution to our economy. So I think this is something we should really look at, and we should not lose sight of this. Mr. Speaker, I will keep on repeating this until you hear this one. This is of public concern. Section 93 of our constitution is very clear. It's of public concern. I will not allow the public to cry when we are here to represent them, to speak on their behalf.
Especially when you are
Mr. Speaker will hear this.
especially when you are
And this will hear this. My point here is, Mr. Speaker, in as much as we are encouraging large-scale mining companies and we know their importance and their contribution to our GDP, Mr. Minister's point is they are taking almost everything in the business sector. They are handling the mining, handling haulage, handling procurement, handling logistics, everything they are handling, leaving our business people suffering. And you know what? The local business people, when they have this opportunity to set up their businesses, sometimes they go and get loans from the bank. And when it's suppressed to some point, they will end up losing.
Sharing your experience.
I'm not sharing experience. I'm sharing the cries of the people. I'm sharing the cries of the people outside.
Honorable Edward George, do you understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
No, well, I just wanted to understand, and the minister.
I'm sorry, the speaker is telling
And the speaker is able to understand it. No, the speaker is able to understand this. A lot of MPs will understand this point I'm coming from. And even the minister understand that. That's why you see can't rush into him.
Even the deputy leader.
Even the deputy leader understand what I'm saying. This is of great concern.
Do you understand?
So, Mr. Speaker, I used to go around these parking lots where these local transport owners sit. I go around this SO200, this is the one that we all see them brand on take, look must carry park. So I don't go transport, they take must carry. So said, they can not come talking. Now we go now say 20,000, they say no, they give 15,000. So must carry just park.
And then the driver.
And they are driving them also. So, Mr. Speaker, this is something we are laughing over, but it's something that's going to cause some break in terms of the local context. And our president is really clear about this, and he made it very clear in his last speech in 2018, I think paragraph 47. That was very clear. So we need to look into this as a parliament, and even the ministry that's piloting this, bringing this agreement to us here. Let's call these people, let them understand that you cannot have it all. If they are providing the funds, let the local business people also feel their presence, because that will lubricate our economy at that level. It's a whole strata, it's a stratification. At the top there, they will be there, but down there, let our local business people get that lubricant so that the economy will flow. So this is something that is really burden on us as citizens, and the people are really crying on the business community. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I will now take you to page 25 of this same agreement, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. It talks about Community Development Fund. The Mines and Development Act of 2022, Section 140, Subsection 4 of that Act made it very clear that the holder of a large-scale mining company, the holder shall, it's mandatory clause, pay not less than 1% of their annual gross revenue into the CDC fund. Here, the Leone Africa Metal SL Limited agrees to make payment to the Community Development Fund at 1% of gross revenue. The law says not less than. So here the company is tied to 1%. If the company is magnanimous enough to be 1.5, 1.2, this agreement is now tying them to 1% only. And the law says not less than 1%. I'm just bringing it, Mr. Speaker, because if we have a company that is magnanimous enough to say I'm paying 2% to the community because you are getting so much from them. The act is very clear on that. Here we are seeing just 1%. I am on page 25, 6.16, Community Development Fund. Although this again is another issue, some large-scale companies are not in compliance with this particular provision. Some, and we'll bring those, we will raise that at some point. Mr. Speaker, other members, my chairman is watching me. I have 3 more pages to deliberate
So
on.
you reference the mines and media.
Yes.
Do you mind taking us
So
to the exact reference?
go to 143,
Section 140,
section 4, subsection 4. I'm sure.
140 CBA.
Yeah.
Somebody said that CDA agreement for CDA form.
Go the M's. You get for pass, but I get for tough as well. I'll bring out the issues.
Yes, section 1434.
4.
Part of its community development holder shall deposit funds prescribed on the law of less than 1%. Annual gross revenue into the community.
So, Mr. Speaker, I am opposed on Prince William. I'm thorough. I will leave that. I come to page 26, 6.18, capital gains tax.
Prince William and Bosco, not university there. Just primary school there. So which university?
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the minister made some, in his explanation, I did not get some areas very clearly. Because Roman figure 1, African Metals Sierra Leone Limited and seller shall not pay capital gains tax for any transaction if the consideration is cumulatively 35 or less of the chargeable assets. I'm not worried about this. When you come to down after 4, it says, for the avoidance of doubt, any asset or activity which income source is outside Sierra Leone will not be taxed. For me, financially, I am lost at some point, so I need some clarification with this. 4 says, applicable law if the consideration is cumulatively greater than 65% of the chargeable assets. Then it says, moreover, no capital gain tax shall be due in the event of change of direct or indirect ownership. Direct or indirect ownership of the share capital of Leone Africa Metals Limited as a result of pure intra-group reorganization, example, merger, demerger, combination, partial assets, contribution, provided there is continuity or understanding ownership. We all saw what happened in the days of the London Mining and the other companies when they changed ownership and the liabilities and other stuff. So because today is Friday, I'm just drawing the attention of the minister and Mr. Speaker so that they will look at this very keenly and let this house understand better what this means. Because this is a bit change of ownership, change of hands, the merger, this, that. Then you don't owe anything to who. So we need to get this clear, Mr. Minister. As a way of rounding up, Mr. Speaker, honorable member, I want to ask the minister that Leone Africa Metal Sierra Leone, yes, it's a large-scale company, and we know what it means for our community and for the government. It's not like a small scale, but let's look at these documents. We are going to approve this, but let's look at them and really see if we can have these people and re-engage them to look at some of these clauses or some of these conditions, because the issue of tax breaks, I don't want to go to that. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I thank you very much for giving me the floor to make my point. I thank you.
Member for his wonderful and constructive contribution to this debate. And I take due note of the point that he has made, and I'm sure the minister must have done same, and he will address most of the concerns he raised. Like he said, his intention is not to derail the passage of this agreement, but is to also seek further understanding and protection of local content, which I agree, and I believe the minister, being a proponent and a champion for local content, will address them and find ways around improving executive and ministerial oversight to ensure that we get everything on track and it's a win-win situation. I think the Honorable Musa Fofana from Koloni Street, and then we round up. And let me state from the outset that after Honorable Fofana, I will take the acting leader of government business, he will round up, and I will stand the house down for a short engagement to the Minister of Finance, pursuant to the outcome of the engagement to determine the continuation of the
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to thank the Minister for this agreement and taking from the cue of my colleague, Honorable from Magistrate. Mr. Speaker, I want to stand on the Constitutional Provision Section 7, 1A and C of the Constitution of Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, with your leave, Section 7.1a states that if we harness all the natural resources of the nation, it will promote national prosperity and efficiency, dynamic and self-reliance. C is talking about protect the right of all citizens to engage in any economic activities without prejudice to the rights of any person to participate in the area of economy. Mr. Speaker, why these provisions? My district, Kono, has been marginalized economically and politically for over 80 years. Today, we are proud of the 2022 Mines and Minerals Act, which is very, very clear around the benefits mining communities will earn because they are mining communities. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to focus on this agreement, page 13, and the mining license 4.2, extension of the renewal. Mr. Speaker, before now, all what we see or hear in this country is agreements that will last for 99 years. In my experience from Kono District, we have seen a lot of agreements that are in fact don't have dates of start and dates to end. But I think today we have a responsible government, responsible ministers, responsible NMA, the regulator, that are talking about time limit in agreement for mining license and why they should renew their mining license. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me read. B of 4.2 says the mineral license granted to Leone Africa Metals Sierra Leone Limited was granted for an initial term of 25 years as provided therein. Mr. Speaker, if you come to C is also reminding the company what they should do for this license to be renewed if they keep themselves within law. But Mr. Speaker, what is very, very interesting also in this agreement, which I want to bring to the notice of the minister, is 5.2 in page 14. Mr. Minister, we are happy because monopoly is there. Mr. Speaker, when government took over the rail and took over the Pepel port, we were proud as the 5th Parliament members of Parliament because we debate or discuss some of those important issues here. Why is it important? Today, we have seen an agreement, 4.3, which is talking about undertaking facilities use of the road and rail and ports, meaning if they want to use that port or the rail, they just have to negotiate with government. Government will give them the mandate to use it because it's owned by government. We learned, honorable members, that between 2012 to 2018, the Pepel port and the rail was not giving government a revenue of even $250,000. But today, we also learned from the former Minister of Finance and the current minister that the rail and the port is benefiting government more than $1 million yearly, meaning this is a laudable venture. Mr. Minister, we want to see multiple of these agreements in this parliament. You know, in the 5-game big changers, government promised to give 500,000 jobs. And we believe that the mining sector alone can provide about 300,000 jobs. So seeing some of these agreements, we are happy. It is just sad because geographically, when you talk about Bendemungowang, this is far north and it's really embarrassing, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, when my uncles are not here, with the exception of my senior uncle, Honorable Mohamed Bangura, because they should be celebrating. They should be celebrating for some of these documents because, as I said, Kono, for over 8 years, we were losing. Government in, government out, we were losing. Bad agreements, communities were not benefiting anything. But with the 5th Parliament under the capable leadership of President Osman Dabio, we have a very good mining act today. We have seen districts in the north benefiting $3.7 million as CDA. Kono, we have never seen that in all our life. So this is not only a benefit for the north, but it's a benefit for the entire country. So we are expecting our colleagues to be here for all of us to celebrate with them today for this blessing that is going to Benembu Ongoan chiefdom in the northern part of Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me also come to page 16. Page 16, 5.12. Mr. Minister, I like 5.12. I like this particular saying around environmental protection. Mr. Minister, if you go to my district, I believe you are fully part of. Mr. Minister, you can still see mining pits that are 80. Of course, Kono, the minister is part of Kono. I can assure you that. He knows. The minister knows. The minister knows what I'm saying. If you go to my district or our district, Mr. Minister, you will still see 80 years mining pits. Nobody has ever reclaimed some of those pits. So whether you can call it political injustice or economical injustice, I just want to say thank you to President Bio for this particular 2022 Mines and Minerals Act and some of these agreements that are coming up today. I believe if Kono will have lithium today or other minerals, we will benefit a lot because now we have a very good law. My brother talked about local content policy. Mr. Minister, there is no way economically we can benefit as Sierra Leoneans without respecting our local content policy. Mr. Minister, you cannot bring a white man here as a driver. That's intimidation. Mr. Minister, we have trained Sierra Leoneans over 90 years to operate what we are calling 14 in those days. Mr. Minister, do you remember machines they call dreadline? This can tell you.
His father was a miner for 30 years.
I know. We are from
He
Yengeman.
must have been going to
My virtue of right, he's my constituent.
standing some gravel when his father was absent to trade. That's so, Mr. Minister.
So,
Like he's trading on gravels.
Mr. Minister,
Yes.
if we really want the livelihood of Sierra Leoneans to be strengthened, we really need to pay attention to this local government policy. Mr. Minister, there is no way you can bring contractors more than the word contractors to supply what? Even charcoal in some mining companies. That's disadvantage to our economy. So please, Mr. Minister, let's make sure we review some of these things. We don't have problem about bringing professionals, but let them come for skills transfer. After that, let them go back. We have Sierra Leoneans who will take those responsibilities over. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I saw a huge information here around, okay, page 24, 6.11, road user charges. Well, Mr. Minister, I don't know why this was negotiated, but maybe we need explanation, because some exemptions for us, we see them as we lose as government. But I must say we appreciate the explanation being given that we need some of these mining companies to come to the areas we have these minerals so that we can start to benefit from them. Mr. Minister, I will end with the 1% CDA agreement. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we have seen in less than 2 years of this CDA inception, when this parliament passed that law, if you go to Bunguna today, or you go to Sama Bendugu today, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you will see huge infrastructural developments going on. Hotels, water facilities, and other developments. I think this is a demonstration that this parliament did a very good job in enacting that law for that 1%. But Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we need to emphasize on the oversight around some of these monies. Mr. Speaker, the reason why is because up to now, I want to say this because I'm part of the Mines and Minerals Committee, there is a challenge between the community of Bunguna or the community of Dansongwea and the community of Bendu because of the sharing of this money. And we don't want to sit down and see what happened during the former government when $3 million was missing from community fund in that particular mining community, which led to almost a confrontation between a community of, I could not remember the name, but very close to Bunguna, and the rest of the other mining communities in that area. Since we have the law now, Mr. Minister, please, let's have independent accounts for independent chiefdoms that own some of these mining rights. So we cannot blend two chiefdoms on one account. For me, it's not correct. I think we as SLPP, we want to set the record straight. And we want to also maintain the legacy and the political will of the current president, as we want to bring the next president, as we will also bring another president. Some of us will still be in this house. We will still be in this house. We are determined to be in this house. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, because today is Friday, I want to thank my constituents, the Minister of Finance. Mr. Minister, please, before the end of this year, we want you to bring more of these agreements. More of these agreements. Mr. Minister, we still have more minerals in Korom. Tell the investors to go to Korom. We still want to see more of this agreement in this way because we want to maintain the legacy of His Excellency President Julius Madabio. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. But let me remind you, the next government
a few comments
is not going to be a government.
The first is I've had Honorable Selo and Honorable Fofana. They have spent time to talk about local content.
Yeah.
See, business is not pleasure. Business is not family. Business is not padi. Business is business. The first challenge our people have in employment is time. A Leone that is looking for a job, you employ him tomorrow morning. For the first 2 weeks, he will come on time. After 2 weeks, he will begin to come as and when he chooses. That is a major problem with investors. It's a major problem with large-scale businesses because time is indeed money. That is the first problem. The second problem is commitment. The Sierra Leonean comes to work today, you give him a certain volume of work, he will not finish it. Instead, if you finish your job today, tomorrow you will have no job to do. You can ask Honorable to tell him. He has a very big facility, he will tell you. And his facility, he employed only Sierra Leoneans. He will tell you what he's battling with. He will come, he will do half of the job, and he will go home. Sometimes they even go home before time, even in this parliament. People come to work, their prayers since they come in the morning is for 4:30. They will not give you a minute after 4:30. If you want to believe, perform an oversight in these parliaments among our staffs, you will realize that at 4:30 everybody is gone, except you. And the businessman that has invested millions of dollars would want his staff to go sometimes beyond the regular hour. The next thing is something that we shy and we are afraid of talking about, is theft. You see, when I was in the bank as a relationship officer, we went to a meeting with CRSG, then CRSG just came to Sierra Leone. And the general manager was sharing his experience in his words, and we use his exact tongue. He said, the problem we have in Sierra Leone is this. He said, we have worked in Senegal, we have worked in Mali, we have worked in Guinea. He said, in Mali, they thief. He said, in Guinea, they thief. He said, in Senegal, they thief. He said, in Sierra Leone, they thief. They don't stop. These are his exact words. Yes, I'm saying the truth, even with us. You give your vehicle to somebody, you put fuel there, you are all in sand or whatnot. The minute the man leaves your works yard and moves 10 meters off your works yard, he would find one corner, he would park your vehicle, and he would drain the fuel. You have one, sir? Everybody has, even your private vehicle. This is honesty.
I have photos, evidence.
This is honesty. We have to be honest. And if a businessman that is involved in mining, the cost of fear to move their vehicles, and they give you their vehicle, when once you take 10 meters off their site, you will go and find one Yabuga and drain all his fuel, and you return the vehicle, or you report that you have their lock. These are major problems that we need to address. Even in the banks. When we were in the bank, you would hardly find a money wrapper that is short. Today, even if the wrapper is sealed, even if the money is sealed, when you count it, there are huge shortages in that package. It's a major problem. If you go to court, you will realize that the number of theft cases in banks, most of the banks don't report because it affects their business image. But theft is regular and it's a problem that we have. If you check the Indians, I've been a proponent of asking that the Indians stop bringing Indian people to Sierra Leone to be cashier, shop boy, but they don't steal. They don't steal. My wife is operating a small shop. She employed one guy. The guy went to Bo. The guy sold things and the guy left. The guy closed the shop and left with all of the money.
They went to Bo with the money?
He went to somewhere, say, in other places. The shop is in Bo. No, the shop is in Bo. So you see, these are problems that we must address. And if we don't address them, no businessman will invest millions of dollars and will expect inefficiency. So for me, I think we should look at that. When you complain about the dog, you should also look at the bone. What is in the bone that is actually preventing the dog from relating the bone? On that note, let me take a moment to recognize the following personalities who are in the chamber. They are with us. I'm sure they will be in the meeting. If the minister so wish. Mr. Mohammed Dele, Deputy Director, Revenue and Tax Policy, Ministry of Finance. Alaji. Mr. Mohammed A. Salisu, Deputy Director, also Revenue and Tax Policy, Ministry of Finance. And Mr. Idris Akanu, Director of Revenue and Tax Policy. Let me remind all of you that today is the 27th, right? By the 1st of April, we expect to receive a sound update on the implementation of the single window. Time bound, it's legislated to be signed into law. So don't be shocked when I summon you. Thank God I presided over the passing of that. Don't be shocked when we summon you to tell us how far you've gone. On that note, I give the floor to the honorable leader of our people, acting leader to Amro.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me join you in recognizing of the Ministry of Finance. Mr. Speaker, I will start from where you ended with the local content. First of all, I want to thank the Minister. I noticed, Mr. Speaker, everybody is claiming that the Minister is his constituent. The member from Kono.
No, he's not claiming.
Thank you. The member of Parliament from Kono, and a few weeks ago, the member of Parliament from Oyamba, and the Kenema MPs are also saying the Minister is their constituent. And Gambia is saying the Minister is their constituent. Yes. Are you not coming from Oyamba? And the Western area also. I hope this is not the second Shaka. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Mr. Minister, I noticed this agreement is not different from the other agreement that have been brought here. You know, when we struggle with our economy, Mr. Minister, and agreements are brought, we definitely know mistakes have been made. And when new ones are cleaned upon, they should take into cognizance mistakes that have been done in the old ones. Because when the economy struggles, the Minister of Finance will bear the greatest responsibility. Everybody runs to the Ministry of Finance, the minister, everybody cry with the minister. And we notice agreements here and here outcomes, and same concessions are given, a lot of tax waivers are given, and at the end of the day, all of us will sit and say, what are we doing? How much are we really getting from the mineral industry? Again, our mineral industry should be able to finance at least 30% of the budget. Today, I am sure they cannot even finance 10% of the budget. And today, we have plenty large-scale mining companies, small-scale mining agreements. And the minister has been part of these arrangements. Please, make sure future agreements, you look at the mistakes that are done with the last ones. Don't take those ones as precedences for future agreements. Because you are the minister. Whatever happens, if you go, even when we go to the Ministry of Finance and ask them, they will refer us to the Ministry of Finance, and they will be part of this agreement. Whatever agreement that is brought here, and when issues are raised with these agreements, they will refer us to the Ministry of Finance. And when the economy is bad, we also refer to the Ministry of Finance. When MPAs don't get their monies, we refer to the Ministry of Finance. When the road work is struggling, we go to the Ministry of Finance. So please, Mr. Minister, make sure future agreements, you do due diligence, the mistakes that have been done with the previous ones. Let us have new agreements, new concessions that will benefit the economy. With that said, Mr. Speaker, I noticed you just spoke about local content. Yes, of course, we have bad agreements, but we also have good ones. Especially if you read 5.1, we have now Sierra Leoneans that are venturing in the area of haulage, drilling, blasting. But what has happened, Mr. Minister, is you see some of these investors come, they also come with their brothers. And they will come, they subcontract to the detriment of Sierra Leoneans that are venturing into those industries. They will, and some of the subsidiary companies are theirs. Go to most of the large-scale mining companies. You can also see Chinese people doing haulage for them. Go to them and see. You see plenty Ghanaians, other nationals as against Sierra Leoneans. And what happens? Because the Chinese know where the manufacturers are, they brought in these trucks and they even settle for less as against the interests of Sierra Leoneans. And when you have Sierra Leoneans like Honorable Mustafa Sele, Honorable George, they will take their businesses like Honorable Bashir Siliki, and we have 2-3 trucks, and you have these Chinese again, and these Chinese, they have access to the investors. They negotiate directly with the investors, while small businesses will be struggling how to even have access to these businesses. So the fact that we are talking that, oh, we have bad Sierra Leonean state and others, but in the area of haulage, Mr. Speaker, honorable member, I have my friend who have procured, he's venturing into logistics. He has 30 trucks. He went to King Ho, and they said he should now register under another person. And this is a man that has all the businesses, he has the trucks, he has the excavators, but they cannot sign contract with him because he doesn't have relationship with the top. And somebody that has a relationship with the top will sign the contract but doesn't have the materials. And he will sign as if he's going to implement, and he will come and sign with a person that have all the items. And at the end of the day, they will be working for him. The fact that he's in between the top and the person that have the assets, he will be getting more. So that's the problem, and that's what exactly the Honorable from Boyaba was talking about. And do you know what happens? And the person will negotiate, for instance, $10, and he will come and negotiate $6, and him in the middle will get $4. And most of them is the Chinese, foreigners. So when we state that, oh, this is what the local content says, the investors will make it extremely very difficult for Sierra Leoneans. Very difficult for Sierra Leoneans. So, Mr. Speaker, it's not just about creation of jobs. Say, oh, we are going to impress you. We know, even in this parliament, we give our brothers jobs. They don't even come. Some of them come at 10 and leave at 4. We know these are the people, even when you give their assignments, because they know, but I'm a brother and that. These are the people that we want to buy the system. We understand that. But for our young business people, who are also, this is a new vogue, they are venturing into haulages, they are venturing into drilling, blasting. But I can tell you, Mr. Minister, in this program, these jobs are reserved for their Chinese brothers. They are. I know of a person that has a haulage business in one of the large-scale mining companies. He was struggling for trucks. We went to the Chinese, explained, and they were asking because he wanted to load. They asked a lot of questions. After our explanation, And they went to the company and they gave them the contract, and they terminated the guy's contract. So they used the information we gave them and they went to their Chinese brothers. So we should, the fact that we are stating them in documents, the fact that we are stating them in documents, we should also follow up. We should follow up. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I notice we are granting, if you read 5.0, 5.1, 5.10, 5.11, please take notes. Please take notes. You understand, Mr. Speaker? Please take note. We are asking for $1 million up front. Mr. Speaker, this is lithium. This is lithium. You know, you are my friend. We are not going into details. Yeah, I'm just advising. When the economy gets bad, you are the person that everybody will cry with. In this parliament, everybody, hey, minister, every ministry say Minister of Finance. So at the end of the day, when documents of this nature go to you, you should know whatever you pass today will help your economy. If we settle for less, you will be the greatest loser. If we settle for more, you will be proud to disburse monies to institutions and NGOs and MDs. But if we settle for less, at the end of the day, you go to this ministry, they will cry with you. You go to this, anybody that comes to this parliament, they will cry the Ministry of Finance. And nobody will want to sit in your office and doesn't want to perform. Everybody wants to perform. You want to please everybody, but you cannot because you are struggling with the little you have. So these are the areas where we should be doing due diligence in making sure the ministry is able to provide. But if we settle for less, the only thing I would say, you've been in this office and we have an opportunity at this moment to do new large-scale mining agreement. We know our mistakes of the past. Should we continue with the mistakes to the future? Today we have this. Whatever we say, there's nowhere personally I can go against it. But I'm just appealing to you that when we have large-scale mining rights and concessions, that's where the state should benefit. Because at the end of the day, you'll be at the greatest responsibility in terms of fiscal expenditure. Thank you very much.
I want to thank the Honorable Acting Leader of Government Business, and I agree with him 100%, particularly his last statement. The Minister of Finance bears the greatest responsibility for fiscal issues. Hence, the reason we will continue to appeal to members of the executive to focus purely on enhancing and progressing with the Mines and Mineral Development Corporation and Management Act that we passed, which provides for government to hold and operate a sovereign wealth fund, while certain assets in our country is designated for the use of the sovereign wealth fund, so that the government can also enter into government-to-government agreements, while we will stop relying on 1 million annual fees and begin to negotiate share percentage in the entire business structure. And for the record, let me also state, what is very disheartening is the fact that once you've agreed that these large-scale mining companies will be paying 1 million a year, the minute they start operation, they will begin to ask for a payment plan with the NRA to pay this 1 million. It is fact. I know a mining list that we approved that is operating on the same Bombali stretch that has asked for a payment plan to pay its annual rent, its annual license fee. And this 1 million, the minute they agree and Parliament ratifies this agreement, what happens is Mr. Kanu, Mr. Salisu, and Mr. Bene, they will put it in their revenue projection for the next year or for the period, and they will spread it on a month-on-month basis. So what they will do as businesses is that they will ask for a payment plan. So they will begin to pay 250,000 maybe every quarter. This is fact. I know it because I'm the chairman of the Public Account Committee. So as we continue to state these figures, I would encourage that we put our attention purely on maximizing the benefit of the Mines and Mineral Development Corporation and Management Act of 2023. Because it is only that will put this nation at the pedestal of growth, transformation, prosperity, and that will raise us above the level of poverty that we see. Because our government will now convert its mineral asset into a state-owned asset, establish a joint venture with another government, wherein we are shareholders like they are in Guinea. Rio Tinto and others that are in Guinea, the Guinean government has 49% shares in each of these companies. So when they sell, when you say you repatriate the money, you repatriate it because I'm a 49% shareholder. So our balance of trade, our foreign currency and fluctuation would also be stabilized if we focus on that. So I would encourage the chairman for the Committee on Finance and the chairman for the Committee on Mines to not only call a joint session, but to also invite this minister to take on the responsibility of going to public places, town hall meetings, and explain the benefits of this thing, one. And two, let us have a joint engagement that we can scale up to the level of the executive, particularly the chairman of cabinet, so that you understand purely that we pass the Mines and Minerals Development, Management and Corporation Act because of what we saw as benefit in that act. Mr. Minister, I'm just taking cue from the acting leader of government business that the fiscal responsibility of this state is in your hands. It sits quietly in your shoulders. We are here to help you, whatever it takes. We are ready. When we pass laws, we don't just pass them and leave them. We follow, particularly that particular law is at the heart of our transformation. So I stop there. I would allow the minister to round up, and after he rounds up, I will not put the question. I will stand down and we'll go get our engagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I am moved by the quality and frankness of the debate. I believe, and I took cogent notes, all the issues raised are pertinent. And I'll start off by prefacing that this is a considerably, very strongly negotiated agreement, a phenomenal departure from previous ones. And I will tell you that I have a very solid comparison of the existing large-scale mining agreements that we have brought to this parliament, and I'm comparing this one to them. And I'm comparing this to the Sierra Mineral Holding Limited. Don't wait for me. You ask me, you will raise an issue, and I'm defining the agreement in front of you. I'm telling you what I am doing. It's a market departure from Sierra Rutile, Corporate Holdings, Kingo, MML, FG Gold, and CTC. These are the ones that are here that are large-scale mining agreement for which the Parliament has offered fiscal concessions. I just want to give, because I listened pertinently to the conversation, and I said it is frank. This agreement, to a very large extent, follows some of the provisions in the Finance Act that were passed last year, that came into effect this year, where we are under law to protect first principle, the corporate tax, second principle, withholding taxes, and then and ensure that those that we know are real government monies are kept. The Extractive Industry Revenue Act allows us to negotiate and offer investment incentives for people who are coming to invest in the mining sector, because it is seriously capital intensive, and you don't start making monies or returns until after you have invested and built a mine, which will take minimum 3-4 years to 5 years before mining infrastructure is completely built. So during that period when you are moving capital, machinery, investment and the like, you need to incentivize that investment. But once that program gets into full operation and start generating cash flow, government must protect what revenue comes to government. And for mining operation, every aspect of a mining account drops money for government. What we have done in this act, in this agreement, is to protect each and every line that we believe once they go start making money, government start drawing down what belongs to government. So we have protected, I've said, first is corporate tax. It is according to applicable law. The applicable law says 30%. We have not changed it. In other agreements, it is all over the place. Not by this parliament, by previous years, the way it has been. And the difficulty the government had was the following: because there is precedent in previous agreement that we have passed, it has become very difficult for you to negotiate with new investors who are coming. They said you are not laying the level playing field. This is a market departure from that. So we are playing by the powers you give to us, and we are holding true to the laws you have given to us. That's what we are doing. So in this space, license fee is according to law. That's it. It's 1 million. That's what the law says. That's what is in the Mines and Mineral Act. We're not doing anything. We're not compromising on it. I'm not able to pay, and I heed to the Speaker's consideration. We don't involve in negotiating that, because it is, if you don't have your license, you don't have the right to operate. And so you don't even have to start saying, I'll pay it in piecemeal over the period. That's not the way you collect taxes. So I'm just trying to give comfort to the House. Equally so, royalty, we didn't touch. It is according to how the royalty is for others that are in existence. They vary across agreements. But for this one, we negotiated, we say, no, we're not going to allow this anymore. It's the same thing we did for withholding taxes. Here we say according to applicable law, especially for those that we know we have control. We left it for those other withholding for international, because then there are double tax agreements that have been passed. That's one. Second, it is complicated for NRA to handle or assess foreign and service withholding taxes. Very difficult. We have not been able to do it. We saw laws coming from the UK on double tax agreements and those kind of things. So we did not try to bother, because it is not applicable. It's not easy to implement. So we waived that. But for all the others, on dividend, on interest, on issues around payments to affiliates, all of this we didn't tamper. We didn't tamper with. We leave it. We left it according to applicable law, 15%, which is part of the provisions that have been approved here under the Finance Act. So I am where we provided incentives. One of the greatest aspects of mining, to make your mining investment smooth and sustainable, is cash flow. You need to have cash flow, because there are lead time for you to process, produce, sell, get the money in country or out there under your debt obligations. You need to have that cash flow. So India, one of the greatest areas where the mines spend money is on fuel. Why did we say they shouldn't pay road user charges? Because most of the heavy mining operations, they are within mining jurisdictions. They are within the mines where they are moving those heavy machines. They're just within that area. When you are within that area, we are saying we don't bother you paying that, because that's where you are paying heavy. So we give it as a concession, and we allow you to manage your cash flow. But if you are outside, moving your vehicles on petroleum to come, because diesel is what they use every day. But for petroleum, where you are using and driving on our roads to come to Freetown to your headquarters, you're going to pay full price, full tax as it is. So this is a very serious negotiation. I'm yielding to Mr. Honorable Leader your admonition and your advice. I'm just trying to confirm that this is the first seriously, heavily negotiated agreement that builds on the spirit of the Extractive Industry Revenue Act, very solidly. So the spirit. And it was heavily negotiated in cabinet, and that's what I am very confident in what I'm saying here. And you can read in comparison departure from how other agreements are been. And as I said, when you calculate line by line from PAYE, which in all the operations, to GST, to withholding tax, so at the end of the bottom, your corporate tax, all those little things, if you do transaction, and I'll answer the other things, each and every one will be calculated. If you do the correct way that the EIRA does, government is likely to get close to 50% of the operation of mines. The problem in the country is that we have been giving away that. That's why we don't get the full value of the law that has been passed. So that's what we are trying to really implement in this act on this company. And it is lithium, and I hear you. It's the first lithium mine, but this is lithium ore, which is a high value mineral, and it's the first one we are doing in the country. We expect it to be completed and go into operation in 2 years. Now, if you have a 30% corporate tax, if they are making profits, that's serious money coming to the budget, as per the volume that is exported or the profit that they make. And this company is Genfeng, is an internationally recognized company listed in the stock exchange in China. So it is subjected to transparency in the way they account for their operations internationally. So I just want to give comfort on the quality of the agreement and the incentives that we have provided for them. There are other issues you pointed at that has to do with local content, and I fully agree with the considerations. The provisions here in 5.4 speak to the spirit of the Local Content Act, speaks to the spirit. But I hear from members, it is in the implementation, it is in the monitoring, it is in ensuring that our people are protected. Better still, I believe we should move as a country beyond just the spirit of the local content. It's not strong enough. I know what prevails in a country like Ghana, for example. In Ghana, when you're doing subcontracting and you're getting into affiliates, those companies are actually by law required to have Ghanaian participation as a partner in the affiliates or subcontracts for you to operate in that country. That by force allows you who have muscle to come and invest, to have a selenium participation in there, whether by any means. That's how you are going to give them opportunities to have access directly. If you leave them to compete with the guys who have muscles, it's complicated. But I hear the other issues as well. Capacity, quality, honesty, timeliness, all these other characters that are required in the business environment. I think these are things that we have to watch as well. But there are good people here who can do business, and we must make sure that we strengthen the law to make the law bites more so that we can give opportunity to ourselves. There are many business people in the Honorable House as well who have private interests. Okay? So, but how do you make that bite? The law doesn't protect you enough. It allows you to go and compete just like that, in the way it is written. It didn't say that when a Chinese company comes and wants to be an affiliate, you by force must partner some percentage with the Sierra Leone. If we did that in law, then it's difficult to put them in all these agreements when they come here. It's hold them to account. But we are going according to the law. So I'm just throwing it back at the house that there's something that we need to do to be able to heed to this very vivid consideration that I think that has been provided here. I hear the issue of community levy. We are going by the spirit of the law. The law says 1%, at least 1%. So if they are negotiating, that is what prevails. We did not flout the law. So we are going, it's a negotiation, so we incentivize. Right? So that's, I think I should just make that we didn't flout the law. The law said at least 1%. So they negotiated at 1%. 1% of total revenue their turnover. It's not small, eh? And so it's not really small for community. But let me advance the following. Now, and we will be bringing to the Honorable House. We'll be bringing to the Honorable House how government is innovating through the presidential initiative around utilizing that community development fund. That is a road, yes, I'm really bringing that. From Aburuka right into Bendugu and right into Bumbuna, where Kingo operations is taking place. That is an innovation now around how We can use the community development fund percentage of it, we can revenue stream percentage of the royalty, and we can revenue stream the corporate social responsibility of the company to do what? To structure an investment to build the road, which is heavily utilized by the mining company itself. In fact, when we get that right, we can replicate that across this country with each and every large-scale mine that is in every district. Then you change the way we think around it, because we have seen that when you give the community development fund to the community, if all is in their hands, they have not been innovative enough in how to deploy the capital. Rather, they fight among themselves on how to share. Less of doing the investment that we are intending should be initiated by the leaders in the community. So we are bringing this innovation in a tripartite way for them to see exactly. They will leave some money for them to use for administration or other uses that they want. But the government would have directed a process of really making sure that something goes back to develop in the community. So that's the thinking. So on capital gains, you raise some concern, honorable member. This is an area where the law says you can incentivize the company. It is not all the time there will be a capital gain if you have a very solid investor, but sometimes you invite others to come and invest. So what we did here in the law, we have what we call a graduated, incentive based on the value of the capital gain relative to the total assets of the transaction. So if it's up to 35%, there's a percent we waive. If it starts increasing, we increase how much you take in terms of taxes that comes to government from that operation. However, as per tax principles, if it is merger, acquisition, those kind of stuff, you don't apply capital gains tax on them. You don't, by law. That's why we put them in there, so that we don't misrepresent it. I think I am fine with, I've explained all of this, all of the issues that I think fundamentally were raised in this agreement, but I just want to close on broader things around mining and minerals, and it has to do with what the Honorable Speaker of the House said. This House had passed the Mining Corporation Act. That act is a solid act that prepares the country for state commercial participation, direct state commercial participation in the mining sector, that will allow us to enter joint ventures, government to government. We are beginning to see traction of interest from big countries, including the United States, including China, including UAE. They are approaching the government. They like the model and they want to work with us. We must ensure that that law is held and implemented to its spirit, because that is where we are going to unlock the opportunities that are in the mining sector. Sierra Leone is a mining nation. Sierra Leone is a mining nation. We have many other things they will tell you to diversify. All the foreign investors who come here, they are coming predominantly for the mineral resources that are in the country. And they take and they enrich themselves very quickly, they profit themselves very quickly, and they go and build out overseas. We have to open our eyes on how we participate directly in the sector. All the previous laws that we have and the current approaches that we are doing will not give us the bang for what we are exploiting from the soil. It is only when we participate directly and get a reasonable share of the investment. That's how we are going to create predictable cash flow that can allow us to be able to do the kind of transformation we are yearning for the state. So I'm just appealing. There is a clear vision that this government has actually laid. We have to be forceful about executing and implementing it to the letter and in the spirit of the provisions of the House. So that I just want to state that, and this once we do that well, some of us are very hopeful that there is a brighter day ahead of us. So I stop there, Mr. Speaker. And I move again that the Honorable House, be it resolved that the Honorable House hereby ratifies the foreign agreement which was tabled in the House on Thursday, 26th March 2026, the Extractive Industry Fiscal Stabilization Agreement for large-scale mining between the government of Sierra Leone and the Leone Afrique Metals Limited, dated 16 March 2026.
I want to thank the minister. Like I said, I will not put the question. I will stand the house down for 10 minutes.